we want to go through a simple task of how to add users, specifically student, to Canvas. This screen is what you get when you log in to Canvas. There are many courses listed here because I have used it for many courses. We shall use it in this video to add a user to this course called the Canvas tutorial. So we'd open it by clicking on this icon, and it opens to this page. Actually, is a list of the topics. As a teacher, you can set it to open to other pages. For example, you can set one of the web pages to be the landing page. It's called the landing page, the first page that the user sees. And so we are not going to go into the menu system, but the main menu is the one on the left. It's the Canvas navigation menu. It allows you to see all the items listed there. The ones that have an I that is crossed out are not visible to the student. That means the announcement is also not visible to the students, but it's okay. So to add a user, you need to select the people item here, the selection people. And once you do that, you see on the right the people button. This allows you to add people. There are other buttons that you do not want to discuss, but you can select people button and it allows you to add a user. There are options up here: add users by email address, add users by login ID, SIS ID, which is actually the Student Information System ID. And these others are used, for example, where you have a student management system which is integrated with Canvas. And that is only possible when you have paid for that. So for the free version, we restrict ourselves to using the email address of the user. So the new user needs to have an active email address. They need to supply to you plus their names. And you'd add that email in this area, in this box. So for example, I will add a user by that email ID, which is one of my emails, and ensure there are no spaces or mistakes within that email, because if that happens, that email will not be delivered and the person will not be able to register. So select their sections if you have set up sections. So in my case, I've set up sections. It's not mandatory to set them up. They cannot be in one section, especially when you have few people. In our case, we want to organize them in sections that correspond to their regions, which makes it easier to manage. So the TA, the teaching assistant, only has to deal with the students in their region, which makes their life much easier. Select the role. In our case, is a student, but a TA can also select other roles such as participant and observer, but they cannot assign a role that is at a higher category than them. So you may not be able to add a role of teacher or even a TA. Then finally, make sure that you restrict the new user to only operate within their section. Because if you don't do that, this user can access other students in the system, and that can cause quite a bit of confusion for everybody. So once you've selected the right section, ensure it's the right one. Don't assign people to a section they don't belong to. Select the role, which in this case is student, and then restrict them to interact with users only in their section. Then you can also add multiple users by using a comma separated list of emails. That means you place a comma there and add another email there. So in my case, I have one. So the best thing is to edit that list in a text editor. Make a list, put the commas, and then copy and paste here, so you don't have to retype it. You also need to have a list of their names, if there are several, because the system will ask you for those names. So next, that name, that email doesn't exist in the system. So I will have to supply the details. And that basically, click on this link here that says click to add their name. Click in there until you can see the cursor flashing, and then type the name of the user, whatever the user name is, the official name, because these records will be used, for displaying their grades and stuff like that. So some people, when they register on their own, they use some nickname or some other strange name, and it becomes difficult to find out who exactly is this person, because they have not used their own name. So anyway, select their full name, and then go to the next window by clicking on next, and you now see their name, their email address, and so on. And at this point, they are not yet added. Yeah, so you add. If you get a list of users, then it may be a longer list, and you may be required to indicate which ones you want to add. But in this case, it's just one person. There isn't the option to make choices of who to add. I add that. I click on add users, and then they are now added. However, they must receive the email and accept the invitation. So it says that John Doe is pending, which means the email has gone to them, but they have not responded in that email to accept the invitation. And once they do that, then it's going to show their names, their emails, and the section in which they're enrolled, their role, the last time they logged in, the amount of time they have spent there. So at this point, as far as you're concerned, you have done what you can do. You cannot now do the work of this person to receive the email and to respond. So thank you so much. This is all that is required to add a user. Thank you. God bless you.